AITA, for filing a complaint against my doctor after she gave my mom my medical information? I want to start by saying that I, female 25, don't have the best relationship with my mom. I have an older sister, and growing up my mom always tended to control me and try to override any decisions I make, saying that I was young and naive and she always knew better. I cut contact with her for a few months after she tried to get involved in my marriage. My husband and I have been together for 3 years, and he has always been telling me to be more gentle with my mom. I had a miscarriage a few days ago. It's devastating, and I really thought it'll get easier, but I'm still feeling excruciating pain and frustration. We were happy and excited, but all that disappeared suddenly, and it was hard for me to take because I thought everything was fine. I didn't tell anyone, especially since I'm currently dealing with some health issues. I didn't tell anyone in the family. My husband promised not to tell until I'm ready. My mom kept asking me questions and brought up my pregnancy constantly, and my answers were short. Because I didn't want her to know, since she'd call everybody and let them know. She's always like this, that's why I tend to keep things private. I decided to not visit for a couple of days, hoping she'd stop asking questions. Then I found out on FB that my mom announced my miscarriage on her page, and I didn't know about that. I was shocked. I freaked out when I started getting calls from family members, and I have no idea how many people knew about it. I was so mad to the point of shaking. Everyone kept berating me for not telling them. I called my mom and I yelled at her. She defended herself, saying that she was just looking for support and that I should have told her about it first time she asked what was wrong. I asked her who told her, and she said she had a talk with my doctor, but I shouldn't be mad because she's my mom and she had the right to know what's going on. I argued with her about getting involved in my personal life and disregarding my feelings and cutting me off guard like that. I went to the doctor and I lashed out at her for releasing my private medical information to my mom and causing me to deal with everyone asking why I was hiding my miscarriage from them, even though I was just waiting for the right time. I told my doctor that I was going to file a complaint against her the same day, since she didn't respect my privacy and decided to give my mom information about my medical records. My mom heard and started berating me, saying it wasn't the doctor's fault and that she was a friend of hers she knew years ago, but I didn't know about it. She said that I went too far and acted like my family were strangers. She said that she's my mom and I didn't need to overreact like that. All I needed was time and space. Now I have to deal with all this stress and I'm a mess right now. My brother texted me a few minutes ago and said he wants to come over and talk to me. He was the first to call me and berated me and said that I was being hostile towards everyone for no reason. I haven't replied to his text yet, but I don't want to see anyone right now. I can't take one more word from them. NTA. They violated HIPAA. Report them. Nothing else matters. This is a violation of law, and you are suffering hardship due to it. Edit, typo. Edit 2, I'm informed you can't sue, so change to report. I'm dealing with enough already and I didn't need all this stress and anxiety. I stopped talking to everyone because they kept saying that I was in the wrong and should have told them about it. Sweetie, they can claim the sky is green for all it matters, they are still all in the wrong. Everyone that dared chastise you for not publicly discussing something deeply personal, I have been through it, I know, can all take a flying leap. Every last one of them. You don't need this nonsense, and every one of them owes you an apology. You also need a new doctor that you can trust, and to report yours to HIPAA. To protect the others, they will do the same too, because it will happen 100%. Edit, you guys are amazingly generous, thank you so much for the awards. Not to mention that, in some families, this could have put you in real danger. This doctor is not fit to practice. It is your moral duty to report them immediately. Agreed. You have a moral duty to report this doctor ASAP. Absolutely, it's a moral duty. Having a strong doctor-patient relationship is its own kind of intimacy and trust between the two of you, and whoever the patient chooses to include. By Ops Mom's logic, the doctor is an old friend to many people and their families, and if she is as flippant with sensitive medical info with others as she is with Op, there can and will be serious consequences. What if she disclosed info to an abusive spouse? Then the doctor could be complicit in the continued abuse. What if original post had an ectopic pregnancy, or found out she was infertile, or any number of life-altering things? Sharing that info with people who are more than willing to harass someone who is grieving makes them an enabler to their trauma. For Op's sake, and all the other patients' sake, report them. Especially for an experience as traumatic and personal as a miscarriage. It's not like you're having gallbladder surgery or a broken bone. A miscarriage is so emotionally hard, and it's no one's business. And in Op's case where everyone already knew she was pregnant, it's even worse because she needs to handle her and her partner's grief and the grief of everyone else. I can't imagine the BS her family is putting her through. Her family is being unconscionably selfish and cruel. And the mom is just toxic boundary burning on a whole other level, triumphant face. And why? I can't imagine why they are giving her BS. Original Post would have told them in her own time. How selfish can you get? Almost as selfish as putting it on effing FB, without talking to Original Post first. I just can't get over that. With a mom like that, who needs enemies? I know some people can be very toxic, but it astounds me that people think they are entitled to know someone's private medical information and verbally abuse those days after they have a miscarriage. This doctor literally should lose their medical license over this. This is not a light issue at all. For the HIPAA violation, the doctor could get fined or imprisoned, unlikely, but Original Post could, and maybe should, also report the doctor to her state's medical board. That's who pulls medical licenses and or censures medical professionals who misbehave. Yup, I think reporting to the medical board is entirely appropriate. This doctor disclosed information / went to Op's mother twice. She shared the miscarriage information, and then obviously contacted Op's mom again after Original Post went in and yelled at her. She clearly contacted Op's mom to get her to stop any complaint being lodged against her. Op needs to report all of this, as this doctor deserves to lose her license. This HIPAA is very clear about what can and cannot be said and to whom, and it's not just doctors that are bound by it. All staff at that office, as well as all hospital staff, doctors, nurses, lab techs, biller, and even housekeeping. Even scientific researchers that use patient samples or data are tightly bound by HIPAA. Even accidentally sharing data that you wouldn't think is personal but can somehow identify the patient is against HIPAA laws. This doctor, as first contact with the patient, knows full well they violated privacy laws. This stuff is covered over and over with anyone who deals with patients or patient data. Unacceptable on the doctor's part. NTA. Adding on to this, how did her mother know that she spoke with the doctor and threatened to report? From the wording, it doesn't sound like Original Post told her mom, so my assumption is the doctor, or someone on her staff, violated HIPAA again. If that's the case, that needs to be reported as well. The state board does not mess around. Also, Original Post should notify her health insurance of the violation complaint. It's likely that they would run an audit and possibly pull their provider contract so it can't happen to her other patients, because if she did it to Original Post twice, you can pretty much be assured she's done it to others. Yes. Anytime I see something that shouldn't happen in a medical setting, HIPAA violation, abuse, negligence, etc., I always say to report to insurance. In addition to reporting the doctor, also changing doctors and having the new doctor flag your account for verification so this doesn't happen at another office. Edit, NTA. And make the verification something your mother wouldn't know. Usually, doctors' offices do DOB and SSN, which a parent would know. It might have to literally be a code word. Also, please look into talking with a mental health professional. This is a lot of trauma in a short period of time. Best of luck, Op. NTA. Great catch. I think a lot of us probably missed that second violation. My thoughts exactly. The doctor violated HIPAA twice and needs to suffer the consequences. I have had to take HIPAA training yearly for the last 15 years for work, and I have never seen an exception stating sharing patient private medical information is okay if sharing with longtime friends. I have never before been glad for the turf wars insurance companies wage, but if they can get this doctor out of medicine, I'm all for it. Oh, good catch. Can that be a second report? That doctor needs to never practice medicine again. It should be a second report. Different date, different incident. Not only that, but the doctor violated confidentiality after being reproached about violating confidentiality. This second incident removed all possible doubt that it could have been accidental, which doesn't excuse it anyway. She can take all the time she needs. Her priority should be taking care of herself, not whatever moral duty you believe she has. Hard agree on this. Original post does not need more people telling her what she should do for the sake of others during this deeply painful and personal time. If she decides to file a complaint, it can happen later. Her doctor and family was absolutely in the wrong. Can your husband help buffer some of this by becoming primary point of contact for a while so you can get space? Agreed. Original post would is not the butthole for wanting to report the doctor at all, but they get to decide when, or if, they do so. Thank you for saying this. What she needs to do is take care of herself, grieve the loss of her child, and not have random strangers telling her what she needs to do. And certainly not have family members berating her about when she chose to announce. Just FYI, one HIPAA violation is not going to knock a doctor out of practicing. At most, they will pay a fine and possibly get a ding on their license that they will have to explain frequently. Odds are this isn't the first one. It was literally 2 back-to-back violations. Disclosing the miscarriage was the first, disclosing OP's complaint about the first was the second. Definitely. In my family I could have been in serious, physical danger over this. Certainly I would have been made homeless. Seriously, as soon as I had a chance I switched all bills and info directed from my parents to myself because when my dad initially found out I was getting birth control, shows up on the insurance or whatever, he verbally abused me up and down for weeks. It was horrible. My doctor completely understood and had all information switched. If my doctor had not respected my privacy, I don't know where I'd be today, honestly. In fact, I would also say that OP's mom and those that have berated her deserve a timeout for a few months. I would say something along the lines of this to Mummy dearest: a miscarriage is something deeply personal and devastating for the couple experiencing it. Not only did you betray my trust at the deepest level by prying out my private health information that you had no right to access, you twisted the knife further by announcing it to everybody on social media. When we confronted you and told you how much you hurt us, you were completely unremorseful. What you have done is not only disappointing, toxic and evil, it shows signs of a serious personality flaw. We are therefore putting you in a timeout for X period so you can contemplate what damage you have caused. When the timeout is over, we expect a full authentic apology. If you refuse to acknowledge what you have done, then we will extend the timeout indefinitely. Edit. Thank you for the awards. Reddit friends also corrected a spelling mistake. I would also make that message public just to drive it home to OP's mom and family. Abso-damn-lutely. OP's mother put her private, medical, information online for God and everyone to see. Now OP's mother can have her business online for God and everyone to see. When she inevitably complains, tough crap. I am fully in support of this idea. This is a terrible idea which I support 100%. I often find myself taking the eye for an eye approach, but then again I know I'm a butthole. That's not eye for an eye, it's an overdue correction that needs to happen. NTA. As a matter of fact, if what you are saying is 100% true, your doctor broke HIPAA violation and that is grounds for termination at the very least. I would say that anything less than almost immediate termination is, excluding special circumstances, if there could be any, a soft punishment. What that doctor did is blatantly and completely illegal and terrible ethically as well. You don't often get terminated for single violations. But for too many overall or too many too quick you definitely will. Overall, we are humans and make mistakes. People should not have their HIPAA violations go unreported though. Additionally, there are more safeguards you can place in to prevent your information from being released. For most items, you just need to establish proof of care. Basically that they are involved in your medical life. Miscarriages, mental health, and other severe cases are obviously exempt and need explicit permission though. You can however always lock down all information and require doctors to only release information to those you select or none at all. The doctor violated OP's trust twice. She shared devastating personal medical information, and then she contacted OP's mom again, after original post yelled at her, so her mother could try to prevent original post from lodging a complaint. You don't often get terminated for single violations. You definitely can though. It's one thing to speak to someone and accidentally relay identifying information without meaning to. It's another thing entirely to purposefully disclose medical information like OP's mom did. The first I can see a solid talking to and warning about, though termination wouldn't be out of the question. The second should, and could, absolutely result in immediate termination. Her license to practice is also definitely on the line. Typically, it is a huge fine, which is a big reminder to follow the law. We had a doctor lash out at us when all we were asking for was to change the code for a test so our insurance would cover it. He said, "Just pay the damn bill." We were shocked by his unprofessional response, so we reviewed and posted in local groups. He snapped, and then they posted my wife's name online and defended what they said. Huge violation since our account was shared and it could have been either of us. Reported him. 1 year later he called and left some fake apology. We never saw him as a doctor, just another one in his practice, so he was way off in telling us off. I believe there is also some kind of wall of shame for providers that violate HIPAA. This will follow that doctor. NTA. HIPAA is there for a reason, report the doctor. That's the fourth way someone spelled that in this thread, laughing my butt off. So it might just be Mandela effect, but when it first came about and I was teaching classes on it, I swear it was Health Insurance Privacy and Portability Act, so I was used to HIPAA. But I can't seem to find the old notes and handouts for it, so maybe it was just a fever dream, or from the previous reality that this present hellscape has replaced. That was a common, but incorrect, way to refer to the privacy rule within HIPAA. Some federal agencies even, mistakenly, called it that. So, it's entirely possible you heard it called that, but it's always actually been HIPAA. How would you spell it? Wrong? I think the original post commenter went back and edited the mistake after being called out on it. I actually don't know how it's spelled. I was merely commenting that it had been spelled 4 different ways. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.